Hello, I am making this video to share what I did to fix my mini rectifier, since I've had some few comments on the video I made showing the problem it had. Now I would like to just stress a few safety precautions. In the method I used to find what part was faulty, requires poking and prodding at the circuit while it is live and powered up. So I'm not necessarily recommending anyone does this, but I'm just showing the process I went through and sharing the information in case someone else has a similar problem, or an amp tech gets a hold of a mini rectifier that is having this problem. Even Mesa was not able to fix it when I sent it to them. To their credit, though, it wasn't acting up when I got it back from them. It only started having a problem. The problem only came back up when I played it for a few hours after getting it back from them. So, anyways, that being said, because I couldn't find the problem, I tried messing around with capacitors and some transistors, changing those parts out and other things like that, and that still didn't fix it. The last resort I used was taking something non-conductive, like a plastic pen or marker right here, and I just started poking at the circuit, being careful still to avoid any of the metal contacts and whatnot. And I discovered when poking around in this area, specifically at this capacitor, that I was able to make the problem come and or go depending on how I was pushing on the capacitor. If I pushed on it in this direction, like so, it made the problem go away. If I pushed on it the other direction, i.e. to my left, it would usually make the problem come back. When I did this, I of course had my amp connected to a proper speaker load and everything so I could hear what it was doing. And because you should have a tube amp always connected to a proper load. Anyways, so I figured it was one of these parts in here that was at fault. And after further investigation and taking the whole amp apart, to get to the back of the circuit board to get these three things out right here, these two capacitors, this orange one, this blue one, and then this relay, I discovered this relay right here had two broken pins on it. And after replacing the relay, haven't had a problem since. And yeah, that pretty much fixed it up. The relay, if you want a closer look, is if the camera will focus. Focus. Well, it's not focusing, but I could read it off. The relay is a G6J-2P-Y relay. And it's a little difficult getting it out because there's, if I remember correctly, 6 or 8 pins on it. I don't remember fully, but you also obviously cannot get it out from this side of the circuit board. The whole circuit board has to come out of the amp, and to do that, this amp is kind of put together like a little puzzle box. I know all 4 of these wires on these switches have to come off. These 2 connectors have to come off. These wires have to come off. This has to come off, but this little guy I think can stay in. The input jacks and foot switch jacks have to come out. And those are extremely difficult to remove without removing these switches right here. This connector has to come out. All of these potentiometers have to come out. And then this little board, if I remember correctly, has to come off. Since there is a little switch right back here, there's a little collar on it, as you can see. That has to become unscrewed, and when you pull the board far enough this way, there we go, this way, it will catch on this little circuit board here when you try to pull the board out. There is also a bunch of little plastic push pins and whatnot on the other side of the board that actually physically hold it in place. and there's one of the push pins is hidden under the main power transformer. So make sure to get that one before forcing things so you don't break anything. And to get that, you have to unscrew the power transformer. Anyways, I hope this helps. If anyone has a mini rectifier that's in a similar state to how mine was, and you're pulling your hair out to try to figure out what's wrong with it, because it took me ripping this thing apart and trying a bunch of different things across many days and hours of work. But now that I have it fixed, it works great, and I like the amp quite a lot. Now, if anyone's interested, I believe I have found a way that I could mod this amplifier to have an adjustable bias. I've traced out the circuit pertaining to feeding the control grids of the power tubes, which are I think they're these two right here. I found the circuit that is the negative voltage feed for the control grids on the power tubes, and I think I've found what would be the appropriate resistor I could make variable or just change to give me control over that. If anyone's interested, let me know. Thanks. Bye-bye.